Long ago, in a busy town lived a man named Jonah. Jonah wasn't just any man. He was a prophet, someone chosen by God to share important messages with people. Whenever God had something to say, he would speak to Jonah, and Jonah would listen. But one day, God gave Jonah a message that he didn't want to hear. "Jonah," God said, "I want you to go to the city of Nineveh. The people there are making many bad choices. They are cruel, selfish, and full of wickedness. Tell them to stop or their city will be destroyed." But Jonah didn't want to go. You see, Nineveh was a scary place. The people there were enemies of Jonah's country, and deep down, Jonah didn't want God to forgive them. He wanted them to face the consequences for all the wrong things they had done. So, instead of obeying God, Jonah came up with his own plan: run away. He packed his things, rushed to the nearest port, and bought a ticket for a ship going in the opposite direction, to a faraway place called Tarshish. Jonah thought if he could sail far enough away, God would forget about Nineveh and choose someone else for the job. As the ship set sail and the salty breeze touched Jonah's face, he felt a small moment of peace. He thought he had escaped his mission. He even went below deck and fell asleep. But what Jonah forgot was this: you can't run away from God. God sees all things, even when we try to hide. And while Jonah slept, something big was about to happen on the sea. Out of nowhere, dark clouds rolled across the sky. The winds began to howl, and giant waves rose high, crashing against the ship. The calm sea had turned wild, and the sailors on the ship panicked. They were tough men used to bad weather, but this storm felt different, bigger, angrier, and more powerful than anything they had faced before. The sailors threw their cargo overboard, hoping to make the ship lighter so it wouldn't sink. They cried out to their gods, each one hoping for help, but the storm only grew worse. Meanwhile, Jonah was still fast asleep below deck. The ship's captain hurried down and shook him awake. "How can you sleep at a time like this?" he shouted. "Get up. Pray to your God. Maybe he will save us." Jonah came up to the deck, and the sailors decided to cast lots, like drawing straws, to see whose fault this storm was. The lot pointed to Jonah. "Who are you? Where are you from? What have you done?" they demanded. Jonah, heart heavy, told them the truth. "I am a Hebrew. I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land. I am running away from him." The sailors were shocked. "What have you done?" they cried, as another wave slammed into the ship. Jonah knew what had to be done. "Throw me into the sea and the storm will stop," he said. At first, the sailors didn't want to do it. They tried harder to row the ship to safety, but the storm only got stronger. Finally, with no other choice, they prayed for mercy and threw Jonah into the raging waters. The moment Jonah hit the sea, the storm stopped. The waves calmed, the winds softened, and the sky cleared. The sailors were so amazed that they worshipped the God of Jonah right there on the ship. But Jonah wasn't gone. God had a plan for him, even in the deep sea. As Jonah sank into the deep, dark waters, all seemed lost. But God wasn't done with him yet. In his mercy, God sent a great fish, some say a whale, to swallow Jonah whole. Inside the belly of the fish, Jonah found himself alive but trapped. Imagine the cold, the darkness, the strange sounds, and the swaying as the fish moved through the ocean. Jonah had plenty of time to think about his choices. For 3 long days and nights, Jonah sat in the belly of the fish, thinking, praying, and realizing the truth. You cannot outrun God, and you cannot escape his love and his plans. Jonah finally prayed. "From deep in the world of the dead, I begged for your help. Lord, and you answered me. When I was sinking, you saved me. When I thought it was over, you reached out." His heart changed during those days inside the fish. Jonah realized that running from God was never the answer. He promised to obey God and thanked Him for His mercy. And God, who always listens to a truly sorry heart, told the fish to spit Jonah out. With a mighty heave, the fish brought Jonah back to dry land, safe and alive. Once Jonah was safely back on land, God spoke to him again. "Jonah, go to Nineveh and tell them the message I give you." This time, Jonah obeyed. He walked into the great city, stood in the streets, and began to speak. In 40 days, Nineveh will be destroyed. Jonah expected the people to ignore him or laugh at him. But something surprising happened. The people of Nineveh listened. From the poorest man to the king himself, everyone felt sorry for the wrong things they had done. They fasted, wore sackcloth, a rough, uncomfortable cloth that showed humility, and begged God to forgive them. And God saw their hearts had changed. He showed them mercy and did not destroy their city. But Jonah wasn't happy. In fact, he was upset. He sat outside the city, angry that God had forgiven them. He had wanted to see the city punished, but God chose mercy. So God gave Jonah a lesson. God caused a leafy plant to grow over Jonah and give him shade from the hot sun. Jonah felt glad. But the next day, God sent a worm to eat the plant, and it withered away. Jonah became upset over the plant dying. God spoke gently to him. "You care about this plant, though you did nothing to make it grow. Shouldn't I care about the great city of Nineveh, where so many people live, people who do not know right from wrong?" Jonah sat quietly, realizing the truth. God's love is bigger than our anger, and His mercy is for everyone, even for those we think don't deserve it. The story of Jonah teaches us that God is full of mercy, even when people make mistakes. He gives second chances. It shows us that running away from hard things only delays the lesson, and that God's love isn't just for a few, it's for all of us. When we choose to obey and show mercy, we reflect God's heart. And when we run away, God is always ready to bring us back, forgive us, and help us grow. Subscribe for more interesting Bible stories. Remember to like, drop a comment and share.